Sometimes you have to look back to move forward, back to where it all began. Most legendary stories have one beginning. Ours? It has four. The gallant pioneers. The four lads who had a dream that continues to be our reality. Our badge is the embodiment of this dream. Since 1872, it's been our legacy. Sure, it's changed over time, but what it stands for has remained the same. It's built into the fabric of our club, the fabric of our city, the fabric of the four, inspired by the first and inspired by the past. We were here before everyone else. Glasgow is our city and Ibrox is our home. Pride, loyalty, glory. But it's more than that. It signifies a way of life, the success, the legends who came, who saw, who conquered, the legends who are no longer with us, the heartache, the joy, the euphoria. From the very beginning of our story, from there all the way to here, still winning, but never standing still. A celebration of the first 150 years. This is a memento of where we were, who we are now and where we are going. Getting ready for the next chapter. Our history is our present, and thanks to the four, we have a legacy of ready.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, folks, good evening and welcome to Blue Heart 1872 podcast. Tonight, folks, obviously joined by Mark Hateley and his boy Tom Hateley. Tom obviously played for Motherwell Dundee, now playing out in Poland. Looking forward to getting Tom on. Mark has texted me. Mark will be joining us soon as well. And we're streaming live to the Portsmouth fan page as well tonight, obviously, because Mark has a big connection at Portsmouth. What a result for Rangers today, folks. Everybody should be happy. A place that people were expecting Rangers to draw points. They went there and won easy. Obviously, 2-0. It could have been 5. I know McGregor had a good game for Rangers as well. But Rangers were an easy street and obviously still 4 points clear. So if I hit my magic button, we should be joined by Tom Hateley. Let me see if I can. Good evening, Tom. How are we?
Hello. The magic button works.
The magic button works. How are we? You good, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all good, good. Obviously, your dad's going to be joining us as well. We chat football, but obviously talk about you first about football. Tom, obviously growing up under the spotlight of your father, I can remember all them, people around my age can remember all them years ago, waiting on your dad coming out of Ibrox for pictures and autographs. There's this little boy, Tom, with him. Tom, obviously, what a place to be born. We just found out in Monaco.
Monaco, yeah, it's not a bad one, is it?
That's
what everyone says. Yeah, I was born out there when my old man was playing out there, and we weren't there for long. I think it was in a year and a bit maybe, and then we went to the sunnier climate of Glasgow. So it was, but yeah, it's nice to have on the passport.
Yeah, it's lovely. Tom, obviously, Glasgow's probably the first time you remember football with your dad. Then, obviously, at that age, that was. And you, I mean, you grew up with your dad around that dressing room with players like Richard Gough, Gascoigne, Laudrup, Andy Gorham, some big names there.
Yeah, arguably the best sort of squads I think put together over the years. They were dominant, and for me that was the first memories of football. Really, it was being like you would never see it now, but in and around the changing room on a match day before a game and. Volleying balls into the goalie's hand in the showers while Walter was giving team talks in the changing room. It's unheard of now. Like, now, for example, you maybe get the kids in after the game or something like that, but definitely not before the game. So I was very lucky. Like as a young lad, you know, like you say, you were waiting out the front for my dad for autographs, and for me, it was been an incredibly fortunate situation of the other side. You know, I was in there, and for me, it was the normal one. And you know, it might sound stupid, but it really was. It was all I knew. It's all I'd ever grown up around, obviously. So I was a lucky little man.
Yeah. So obviously, Tom, heavy into football, no doubt about it. At what age would you say then that you know, every kid wants to be a footballer, but at what age did you start to get noticed?
Well, yeah, like I say, I always wanted to be a footballer. It was never something that was sort of forced upon me or anything like that. Just from being in the environment and everything like that, it was just something that naturally happened. I used to be all right and got picked up through it. It was when I moved down south with my mum and my sisters was probably the first time I started playing for my local team, Mascot United, and then I ended up signing for Chelsea from when I was 8 till about 14 or something like that. Used to be a striker. Then I moved to Reading. Well, actually, Ascot United again in between for a year with my mates, and then I got picked up by Reading. Went to Reading and got moved into middle of the park, and that was always been my position since. So really, it was sort of once we left Glasgow and moved down towards London was when I first sort of realised that I could try and get a gig in the game.
Yeah, obviously. So Reading was your first pro club.
Yeah, Reading. So I was there from 14 through the schoolboys, a 2-year scholarship and 1-year pro, and then I left the same time Steve Coppell left, along with I think there were 7 or 8 of us as first or second year pros that left the club at the time, and then I went up to Motherwell.
Yeah. Now, did you feel pressure as a kid because obviously your dad was such a top player? Did you feel the pressure?
Yeah, more so when I was younger, to be honest with you. Then you know, you sort of want to grow up and playing in a different position. You realise that there's you know, I've fortunate enough to have the Hateley name, but there's comparisons are difficult to compare. Really, we're completely different players. I'm a centre midfielder, and my dad and my granddad both, you know, it was their job to score the goals for a living. So I think if I was a striker and I had those pressures of trying to sort of emulate the goal scoring records and all that type of stuff, or heading like he used to head, then it would be a comparison that would be made, and then more pressure would come with that, I think. But I've sort of grown into understanding that my job's different. So it's the older I've got, the less pressure I felt off it, I think.
Yeah, and obviously, is that from your Reading days? Is that where you've become? Obviously, I know you're good mates with the Southampton goalkeeper Alex McCarthy now. Is that where you tied up with Alex at?
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, we lived together when we were younger as scholars and a pro. Yeah, best man at my wedding. He was, you know, he's a good lad. Somebody that I speak to every day now, and our families are good friends and everything like that. So we had a good squad at Reading back then. There were quite a few that went on to play in the first team and gone on to have good careers. So it was a good time to be at Reading. There were a lot of lads coming through the squads, through the academies.
Yeah. What other names came through there, Tom, at the same time, around that time?
There was the best player I played with to date was Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's you know, whatever's happening at the moment, but he came through. Then Jem Karakan was a centre midfielder with me, who went on to be the club captain for years and then moved to Galatasaray. And then you've got Alex Pearce, centre half, who's been at Millwall for years now in the Championship. Simon Church, Hal Robson Carnu, both strikers, played for Wales, played in the Premier League. James Henry, quite a lot of them have went on to have good careers in the Championship, and sort of teams like West Brom where they've bounced up and down and stuff like that. So they've, you know, for an age group to have so many players that went on into the professional games, because as a young lad, I wasn't necessarily the best player, but you know, I had my head. I knew I needed to work hard and that type of thing. So I think to be in an academy where a lot of players came through within 1 or 2 age groups was quite a big thing for the club at the time.
Yeah, and you talk there about obviously up to Motherwell. Now, was it the case of Motherwell obviously come and got you, but had Reading let you go, as in said you know, You're not for us.
Yeah. So I got released by Reading, and then it was, at the time, my agent was Trevor Stephen, through my dad, obviously organised it. So Trevor got on the call more to speak to clubs. He was speaking to clubs on my behalf more than clubs calling us. I was a young lad that hadn't played any professional games at that time. I'd gone on loan to a local team, Basingstoke, to play against men rather than academy football. And so then, he got in touch with Motherwell. It was Jim Gannon who said that I could go up and have a trial. I think it was came up on the Monday and played in a game on Wednesday and signed on the Thursday or something like that. And then the first game of the season was Saturday. Somebody got injured in the warm-up and ended up starting the game. And then played, I think it was 170 games in 4 years. It was a good spell for me. It was all about getting games and just learning the game and getting that experience.
Yeah. Obviously, a question that every Rangers fan would ask, Tom, there's a few questions they'll ask, but one of the questions I want to ask is, why the fuck is it every time Motherwell and these clubs come to Ibrox, they put on this masterclass of going for 90 minutes, but when it comes to other games, they seem to be blown away?
It's a beautiful stadium, isn't it? It's nice to go and pass the ball about.
It just seems to be a lot more effort put in by players when they play against Rangers. I know Rangers are they're the champions and everybody wants to beat them, but
possibly, I can understand what you mean. I think as a player, you never purposely give more in one specific game. You're giving everything every game, but it's when you go somewhere like Ibrox, it's different. It's 50,000. You either enjoy the pressure of playing in front of that many people, or you'll sort of crumble. I don't know. It's just the atmosphere you're in, aren't you? It's even like when Rangers came to Fir Park, instead of there being 4,000 or 5,000, there would be 15,000. It generates a different atmosphere. I think it's part of if you're being a player at Rangers, you have to deal with the fact that people are going to raise their game against you. You're the team to beat.
Yeah. Or is it a case, would it be fair to say it's a case that a lot of players see as a chance to put a show on, to put themselves in that window of somebody making a move?
Of course. Yeah. It's 100% fair to say. You offer nearly everybody the opportunity to go to a club like Rangers. I think that'll snap your hand off. A club like Rangers that have the fan base they do, the history that they've got, everything that comes along with it. It's definitely a shop window. A lot of players go up to Scotland to use clubs in a way of a shop window. I think they'd be lying if they said otherwise. It's a good level of football. You get good opportunities to play games, and you often see the best players from other clubs getting sort of snapped up by the bigger clubs, by like Rangers or something like that. So it's definitely something that would go into people's heads.
Yeah, okay. We'll put a question up here from Stuart Finlay. So obviously, Mark, your dad's not on yet, but my question to Tom is, what do you think your teammate Henrik saw in you that made him recommend Polish football to you?
Oh yeah, Henrik Oyama. Yeah, he was. So he was at Legia Warsaw, who were back then. They're the club out here that sort of win most championships and stuff like that. And I had the call to come out to Poland, and he was the only person I knew out here. So I picked up the phone to him. Still good pals with him, and I just spoke to him about the game, what it's like. It's you told me it's like classic European football, and you have the opportunity to get on the ball and play in front of intimidating atmospheres with the fans and nice stadiums and stuff like that. So I picked up the phone, and it's always good. It's I didn't know anything about Polish football before I came out. So for me to pick up the phone to him was important, because I was moving. It wasn't just me; it was my girlfriend, now wife. So it was good to get the opinion of somebody.
Yeah, okay. Stuart King asked, did Tom play under Stuart McCall at Motherwell?
I did. Yeah, good manager he was. He was probably his biggest strength was his man management. He was very good communicator individually with people, good motivator. We had a good spell at Motherwell with Stuart. We had good European campaigns. So he's manager I enjoyed playing for. He's the type of manager you enjoy going into training every day. It was a good laugh, good atmosphere. We had a great group at Motherwell in the squad. We had some top lads, and Stuart helped to really bed that into us. So it was, big. He deserves a lot of credit for the period at Motherwell that we had going into Europe and doing well.
Yeah, okay. Nothing to do with your dad? No, your dad wasn't putting pressure on to make sure Tom played every week?
Not that I know of, he might have been, but I hope
okay.
not. I hope I was just in the team for doing well. So, but I hope not.
Okay. And Stuart Finley's asked again, how was it working under Steve Coppell at Reading and also being a captain of the youth team?
Yeah, Steve Coppell was... I was young, so it's different. It's difficult to fully sort of give my opinion on Steve Coppell. I was training with the first team every day. He's a manager that was more in the shadows, if you like. He would always sit and watch training rather than take the session. It was Wally Downs and Kevin Dillon that were doing all of the hands-on stuff, and Steve Coppell would stand on the platform and overlook training and obviously watching everybody from a different view. Is the only manager really that has been not as hands-on in my career. Like I say, I wasn't properly in the first team or anything like that, so it's difficult to comment on. But being captain of the youth team, was Eamon Dolan put me as captain of the youth team, and at the time it's a massive thing. You want to be captain of the youth team, trying to get professional contracts and go on to play. Reading were in the Premier League at the time, so it was for me, it was an opportunity he obviously saw something in me that was a bit of a leader in a way. I'm not shy to tell people if something needs to be done. I was, having to make sure people were doing their jobs and all that type of stuff. So it was good times. It was, to be honest with you, I think, being completely honest, a lot of young people maybe take it for granted. As a young lad, I was at Reading. I was in a Premier League club. And you naturally think you're going to just progress. You think, I'm at a Premier League club, I'm going to, I'll step up into the first team. And I think some people get a little bit too comfortable in that situation. It's something that if I was talking to young lads, that I'd say to them, never be too comfortable because nothing's a given.
Yeah. Okay, now my laptop's beeped, so that means we've got another guest. And obviously, Tom. Good evening, Mark Hateley. How are we?
I'm fine. How are you doing, guys?
Good.
All good.
All good. We've got Tom on. Mark, tell us, where have you been today and what have you been up to? Obviously, you watched the Rangers game.
I did watch the Rangers game. I'm up the top of the Shankill at the Mountain View Tavern, where I've done a book signing session today. And it's been, can I just say, guys, it's been a long day.
I can imagine. How many books have you signed today, Mark? I bet you've signed a few.
I think we did about 80, I think, today, which was a great turnout. And as always, the people up here in the Shankill have been, it's like a second home for me. Came over about a few years ago, turning the Christmas tree lights on. But it's just a great place to read, just great people.
Yeah, brilliant, Mark. Obviously, Tom's on, and we're going through a bit Tom's career. I
was going to say he should be in bed. He's got a game on Tuesday.
It's only 8:30. I'm 32 now.
So obviously the question came in here, right, from Jason Birch. So I will give it to Tom. So it says, Grandad, Dad, and you, Tom, who is the next generation of the clan?
Hopefully Teddy, my little boy. Teddy is 2 now. If he wants to go into football, I'll fully encourage him. I'm not going to force it upon him, but he loves kicking a ball around. We'll see. He's a right footer, I think, at the moment. I'm trying to encourage him onto his left foot, but we'll see. We'll see in time.
Well, let's not leave the girls out. What about Eloise?
Eloise is, my daughter, 6. She actually loves football as well. We've been organising her school over here in Poland, and she had the choice of you can do ballet or you can do football, and she chose football. So you never know.
Excellent. Yeah,
excellent. She's a little tomboy. She loves her football. She does. So it's hopefully both of them, but you never know. It's up to them in the long run, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, Mark, you watched the Rangers game today. What was your thoughts on the game today?
Thought it was a good game. Thought we took the game. I think he picked a team to go straight at Hearts. Wasn't afraid to get at them, and got the just rewards. I think caught Hearts fast asleep. 2 good goals, and then defended properly. A couple of chances for Hearts. A couple of good saves as you would expect from your goalkeeper. But I think overall, I was disappointed that they didn't go on and score a couple more goals. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. We're going to a third place team that's chasing us, and we go and do a good job and come away with what Gio's always on about, a clean sheet.
Yeah. Obviously, for myself, I thought we 2-0 Mark inside the first 20 odd minutes. I thought we were going to go on and score a barrel load, and it should have happened.
Well, that's it. But it's managing the game, I think. Obviously, Hearts are playing quite well at the moment. They're playing at home, got home support. So I think you just manage the game. We manage the game well. Obviously, they got a couple of chances, as I've just said. But I think all in all, the disappointment, we didn't score a couple more goals. But as I say, it is what it is. We go there, real tough encounter after a big game in midweek. And we take 3 points and we head off back down to Glasgow.
Brilliant.
I think if you go to Hearts and you win 2-0, happy days, clean sheet. There's a hard place to go. That.
Yeah, but on the game, Tom, itself, it looked like Rangers really should have went on and
pushed on a bit.
Put Hearts to the sword. Obviously, we're streaming live as well tonight to the Portsmouth fan page, and obviously they clued in because Mark's on here, big name down in Portsmouth. Mark, did we get a date yet for you coming down?
I think it's the 6th weekend. I think we're down to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're at Portsmouth. I think we're at Portsmouth. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed yet, but that is the game we're looking for to come in and doing a piece up in one of the lounges, book signing, pictures, all that sort of stuff. I think we've got a couple of venues for the Friday. And then I think it's a venue, a brunch venue on the Saturday before the game. And then I think we have Baffins on the Sunday, I think, or that could be the Saturday. I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. Obviously, and if Mark, obviously for the book, if people need books and they want them signed and a rush for Christmas, is it through Aired Books, or what way can they?
Aired Books, yeah. Alistair has got a number of books that are pre-signed. He can send them down to you if we get them off before. I think this week. I'm going to say everything will be delivered before the 20th of December, all wrapped, ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, so anybody that needs books, to get them from Aired Books, and obviously Aired Books are on Facebook, Twitter, and if anybody knows me, they can send me a message and I'll sort the book out for them.
Guess what you're getting for Christmas, Tom?
Do you know, I think you was in my head then, because I was just thinking, I wonder if that's what I'm going to get, a signed book. As long as it's wrapped.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Okay, Tom, so obviously it's we go back to the time at Motherwell, and then Motherwell to Dundee, is that correct?
So I was, in Scottish terms, I was at Motherwell for 4.5 years, and then went down to Tranmere, who were in League One in England at the time, over to Poland, and then from Poland back to Dundee.
Poland back to Dundee. And then Dundee back to Poland. So Cyprus, was it?
Yeah, so I went from Dundee and was there for a year. Had a chat with Neil McCann. I had a 2-year deal, but I had a chat with Neil McCann, was the manager. And I wasn't playing a lot. I wasn't playing all the time. I was at an age where it was, I didn't want to sit on the bench and play half the games or come on for 20 minutes. So we had a good chat about possibilities of me being able to go and stuff like that. So we agreed for me to terminate my deal, and then I went over to Poland to actually the team I'm at now, called Piast Gliwice. So I came over here and had 2 really good years. We were champions, we were third, and it was sort of like dubbed like a Leicester City of Poland, really. Like we were top 8, and we did really well for the couple of years, and then got a move to Cyprus for a year, and then my club wanted me to come back here, so that's where I found myself.
Yeah, and football in Poland, Tom. Stupid question. What's it like? But I mean, what would it be up there with Scottish football better? Or?
It's a completely different style. To be honest, I feel like it's. I had a situation in my career where I could have stayed in Scottish football or tried to go and play European football. I've always wanted to play European football. I feel like it suits my style more. I like to go and get on the ball. I like to make the team tick. In Scotland, for example, I was making 30 passes a game, a lot of them second balls and headers. Whereas over here now, I'll make 90 to 100 passes a game. It's like a typical European football league. It was. So for me was the opportunity to go and play in a league that was, European. If you'd asked me at the beginning of my career, would I play football in Poland? Probably not. It's not something that I would have imagined happening, but it was the door that opened up at the time, and it was one that I jumped on. I wanted to learn different languages, live in different cultures, and experience different football. And it's a league that is, like a classic European league. Your teams that like to get on the ball and play, and your fans which are passionate, shall we say. I think my dad would agree with me. He calls me after games and stuff like that. It's a style of football that suits me more, I think, to Scottish.
Mark, what was your thoughts on Tom heading out to Poland? Did you think it was a good move, or?
Yeah, listen, I'm always been an advocate of younger players, right? Getting the chance to go and test themselves, get them out of the comfort zones. I think a lot of British players feel comfortable by just playing in that sort of arena, what they've grown up with the pals and that sort of football. But I think in the modern game, I think to be able to go and play in Europe, as Tom's just said there, and enjoy a different culture, a way of life, as many as you can. That makes you a better person as well. It's also, if you're dipping in and out of different sort of football systems, you're obviously learning different techniques, and that's what Tom's done through his career. In England, up in Scotland, over into Cyprus, and Poland twice. And that's how you build your technical, and I think your own well-being as well. I would say about traveling around Europe, coming out that comfort zone, and being confident in different sort of environments. I think that Tom looks really good where he is. Cyprus was a strange sort of football. To be brutally honest, which I always am. I always thought that the Polish system, the Polish game, and you can look at their international team, the way they play the game as well. Is a good level, a real good level to be learning to be a better player. And Tom's done that, in spades.
Yeah. Now, the question keeps coming up on my screen. Obviously, I can see the question, and the question's repeating itself hundreds of times. So I'm going to put it up now anyway. And there you go. Tom, was there ever an opportunity for Tom to sign for Rangers?
No. If there was, I would have signed. Well, it's a club that I grew up supporting. Obviously, it's still check on the results, and the opportunity was never there. I don't think it was through a lack of. I tried. We made towards the end of my time at Motherwell. We spoke to Rangers and stuff like that, but at the time they wanted to do something different. So it was. I have to say, unfortunately, something that didn't happen. I would have loved it to happen, but it just is something that didn't quite pan out.
There was a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity at that time. The club might have seriously taken a look at, because there was Tom, Darren Randolph, who were the other players? Hutchinson, centre half, young boy. Who else was there, Tom?
What, that left?
Yeah.
Nicky Moore left. He went to Rangers.
Yeah.
It was basically the end of our group at Motherwell that did well for the 3 or 4 years.
and they were all out of contract. And to me, it made it perfect. I mean, not earning a great deal of money. The club couldn't afford a great deal of money in them days. And those, I think, the four players I've mentioned, Jamie's in that lot as well. Jamie was out of contract. Could have all joined Rangers where they were at that time, and then been a sellable product further down the line, having come through and brought the team back because they were good enough players. So you look at what Jamie's done, what Tom's done, and you also look what Darren Randolph's done. Still a Premier League player playing, Republic of Ireland and all that sort of stuff. So they were good value. And in my personal opinion, I thought it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at that time, obviously, we're going back to when Rangers were in trouble. And as a fan looking in, we seem to bring players in unknown quantity from everywhere. Whenever we could have went and got, as you say, Mark, 3-4 players from Motherwell on freeze.
Yeah.
Definitely a missed opportunity.
I think as well at the time, from where the club was, it was a period when going down the leagues and stuff like that. That was the time when we spoke to them about going. I wanted to be involved in something of, I grew up as a fan. The opportunity there to go and help the club, play for the club, and be in a situation where you've got, Murph as well at the time. Was arranged. Obviously, he's a Rangers boy, and it was disappointing. It's fair to say.
Yeah, okay. We'll pick this up. We've already read this, but it's from Mark, and it's from Lee Matthews. Evening all. Mark, apologies for asking, but any chance you can do a book signing in Portsmouth, please? Guaranteed a good turnout. Well, we know, Mark, we've already talked about that, so that is happening. Hopefully, first weekend in January.
Yes.
And the details, whoever's watching this, the details, I'll put them on the Blue Heart page, wherever Mark's going to be, but we know he's going to be in different pubs and venues, signing books, and obviously somebody... I don't think it's going to happen. Would love you to do a book signing in Brighton. I don't think you'll be going to Brighton. But the Brighton fan or person in Brighton can travel to Portsmouth and see you.
Yeah, the gist is, Gary, we're going to do Coventry, obviously my first club, and Portsmouth, my second club, and then that's going to be real early in the new year. That's probably to be confirmed, I would say, within the next 10 days, everything for those two clubs. And then we are doing, we're thinking of going to Milan to do one there because of the popularity out there as well. And who knows, we might even pop in where Tom was born, Monaco, and do one in there as well. Because, Arsene Wenger's there. Done a terrific piece for the book, it might be worthwhile.
Yeah, okay. Loads of questions. A lot of them obviously repeating themselves about Rangers. One from Glenn Walker. Tom, would you like to come back and play in Scotland?
I don't know. The thing I've learned with football is never say never. I'm always open to different opportunities, different doors open at different times when you don't expect them, like one did for Poland. So, completely honest, at the moment, I'm quite happy in Europe. I'm enjoying the style of football. Like I say, I don't feel the need to come back to Scotland or to England or anything like that. It's a style of football out here that I'm enjoying. My family are enjoying. My daughter's speaking English and Greek and Polish from when we were here before, so she's picking up different languages and also being in different cultures and environments. So for me, at the moment, I'm happy in Europe. But you never know what could happen later on in my career of going back to Scotland or something like that. It's something I wouldn't close the door to.
Yeah. Obviously, Tom, does the season over there run the same as we have over here then? Do they run the same months?
Yeah, well, we've got a winter break now. So I play Tuesday, then Saturday. And then from Saturday, we are off until we're due back in training. I think it's the 7th of January. And then the league starts again in February and then runs until May.
Okay,
so
you come.
you have a good winter break. It's too cold out here to play in winter.
You come back. You come back to UK for Christmas.
Yeah, back to the UK. I haven't been back a lot because of the old COVID situation. We were in Cyprus last Christmas. We couldn't get back. So yeah, I'll be back to London for Ascot for Christmas now. So it'll be nice to get back and see the family. I've not really seen them properly for a while. So yeah, it'll be nice.
Yeah. Obviously, Tom, playing out in Poland, and you're seeing firsthand. Is there any players out there that Rangers should be looking at?
I mean, there's good young talent in Poland for sure. There's players that the last couple of seasons have been snapped up and gone to Brighton. Jakub Moder went from Lech Poznan to Brighton. Now he's playing. Where the other young players go, the move tends to be they go from Poland to Germany or Italy is the move that they generally get the younger players. I can say from what people tell me, the young player at the moment is a lad called Kaminski, who's at Lech Poznan. He's a winger that's a good attacking player. Just got Player of the Month there when we played against him. He got his trophy. So he's the young lad at the moment that I think everybody's expecting to move on to bigger clubs. So I would say that would be the one for Rangers to have a look at. They were in the market for one.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put this one up. It's from Craig Glenn. He says, I love Big Hateley. Seen him at Tesco. Craig Marlock. All the time.
Marlock. Yeah.
Always been in awe and scared to ask the big man for a selfie.
Yeah.
He must be very intimidating character.
I'm going to say nobody messes with my food, right? when I'm in food mode, nobody messes.
Brilliant. Okay. So Robert Irvine is saying about Mark coming to Brighton to do a book signing. I do know there's lots of Rangers fans in Brighton, but will I warrant Mark going down there? I don't know. That'll be up to Mark. Good question from...
Can I just say, Gary, if anybody is interested, to contact Alistair at Ed Books, because he is the man that will follow up all inquiries regarding the book. So we're not ruling anywhere out. And if there is a demand, and we can come up with a venue, and also a certain amount of people, obviously, to be in that venue, then that's what we'll think about.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So, question from Jason Birch: Mark, as a manager, would you sign Tom? If yes, why?
Yeah. Listen. Tom, I'm always going to say this, but Tom is a really intelligent footballer. He's got two good feet, sees the game very, very quickly, sees the game very, very early. As I say, terrific technique. And his position, whether he wants to play defensive midfield or play as an 8, as you call it, Tom, yeah? Yeah, further forward, he can do both, and he's proven that. He's proven that in Poland as well when he went on to win the championship in the club's first time in their history by scoring goals. Everybody knows he can take a good free kick, but his overall awareness in and around the box. So he was a centre forward when he first started as a young boy, and his wise decision to move back. Following in his granddad and his great granddad's, big boots to fill. But I think the position that he is right now in the middle of the park is where he should be playing, because he can open his body and go both ways, and he has a great eye for a pass. He doesn't mess around. If he sees that pass, he's aggressive on the ball, aggressive in the tackle. So that's how I've always seen him. It's just. Yeah, that's where he is right now. He's in complete control, I think, of what he wants to do and where he is right now, purely on what he has already achieved.
Yeah, obviously, Mark, you talked there about Tom being a striker. What you're saying is he couldn't head the ball as good as you, then?
No, he does head the ball, but it doesn't go in the right direction.
I'll leave the heading up to you. That's all right. You can have that one.
Yeah.
okay. Well, there's lots of. Listen, we can't keep asking the same question. Tom's already said about the Rangers thing. Well, he had the chance to sign for Rangers. He said his bit, so we're not going to go over that again. Mark, obviously, we had done a podcast on Friday night amongst the fans, and this is just a Rangers thing for you. What nobody can seem to put their finger on. Why have we went from a Rangers team last season who rarely conceded a goal? Start of this season, we were conceding goals early doors every game, but now since Giovanni came in, it's like shut up shop. We haven't conceded. What is he doing different?
Well, I think he's implemented a different sort of a wee little tweak to it, not a lot. Tom picked up on the fact that that Kamara now drops in between the two centre halves, which he never did before under Stephen. I think you've seen Kent now. Kent is now that out and out left winger. Doesn't come roaming around across the middle of the park. Little things like that. He's committed into his fullback every time he gets the ball, and that makes Rangers straight away more of an effective team. I think you've also got the bounce, the new manager bounce that you get. 4, 5, 6, 7 games. I see the reaction. We'll have to see what the reaction's like after the first defeat, and how the manager responds to that. Hopefully, we don't get a defeat, but invariably you will get that dip, and how the players will react to that dip. Well, time will only tell. But I think Gio's come in. He knows what the club's all about. He's played for the club, which helps. He knows what the fans are all about, and it's down to him now, and obviously down to the board where we go with this team now.
Yeah, obviously, he's got that Roy Mackay with him, obviously a proven striker. Every time I look at him, Mark, I think he could give you a right good bollocking if you done anything wrong.
No, not me.
Is he not intimidating as you, Mark?
I know.
Right.
Listen. If you don't do anything wrong, nobody can get. That's why I never had a bad word with any of the managers. And everybody, if you read through the book, all the managers that have done a piece have always all said that it's never had a bad word or a crossword with me, sort of stuff. So I was an intimidating guy, but I was never one to go around bullying people. I told people exactly what I thought of what they should be doing in the game in my own side. And I think that's the way you have to be. I think they call them leaders nowadays. Is that what they call them?
That's the polite way of saying it, yeah.
Yeah.
Leaders is right, okay. Question from Stuart Finlay to Tom. Tom, will you be doing your coaching badges, and where would you like to coach? If so,
yeah, I'm doing my badges now. I'm doing my UEFA B license now through the Scottish FA. We've sort of done all the online stuff that can be done now. It's only we need to get on the pitch and do the coaching stuff in person, which is the difficulty at the moment. Obviously, playing football now, that there's been a few dates where the group have met up to do practical sessions, but obviously I'm playing, so being unable to get there. Yeah, so I'm doing them. I've done. I've got a master's degree which I've finished in football business and management, which was good actually. It was more like from the other side, off the pitch stuff. It was all about commercial stuff and managing. More to look at being a director of football. It was more for that kind of role, really. I like to keep options open. I've always been told by my coaches that my strongest asset is my brain, my football brain. So
gets that from his dad.
Not getting for that. So I want to, keep us, like I said earlier about opening doors. You never know what's going to happen. I want to make sure I'm ready for if there's an opportunity that opens for me when I come to finishing my career, that I don't want to have time out of the game. I want to make sure that I'm ready to go, whether it's a director football role or more of a coaching role. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, okay. Question I want to ask you, Tom, is obviously playing in Poland now, the language barrier. How do you fare with the language barrier if the coach is speaking Polish? How does he get that across to you?
I understand most of it now. I've
Right.
been in Poland a while, so I can speak Polish, not fluently or anything like that. But when I'm on the pitch, I'll just speak Polish or communicate with my teammates in the dressing room. I can go speak Polish and stuff. Yeah, not bad. If it's something a little bit more detailed, one of the other coaches speaks good English, so he'll translate for the international group, the international guys that are in the squad that don't speak Polish. So I think pretty much every team has sort of a translator or one of the coaches that will speak English, just to help the boys through in general, really. But it's when I first came out here, we had to do lessons, so I had to do 2 lessons a week. So yeah, now I've got the lingo a bit. It's a hard language to speak, but I'm getting there slowly.
Good. When you chat about the other guys, what other countries is because Poland's not a league I would follow or look at, so I don't really know. Is there any other English guys out there?
No, I'm the first. I think the first, or there might have been one years and years ago, English player to play out here. There's Barry Douglas. Remember Barry Douglas? He was at Dundee United.
Yeah.
He got moved from Dundee United to a team over here, Lech Poznan. He did really well for a few years, and as he used it as a platform to bounce his career on. He went from there to Konyaspor in Turkey in the Premier League out there. Then he got his move to Wolves, got promoted to the Premier League, got a move to Leeds, got promoted to the Premier League, and now he's back in Poland now. Barry's a good lad. We've met up quite a few times out here with wives and stuff like that. He's sort of 3 or 4 hours away, so. Other than us two, no, it's not necessary. That's why at the beginning of the call, when I said, if you said at the beginning of my career I'd be playing out in Poland, I wouldn't have necessarily expected it, but it's the avenue that opened up, and it's one that I'm glad it did, to be honest with you. I'm enjoying being the only Englishman out here. Yeah,
good. Okay, you talked earlier also, Tom, about being in the dressing room at Ibrox before, obviously, when your dad was playing, and
yeah,
you're hitting the ball at the goalie while Walter's doing the team talks. Obviously, you're chatting now. You say that it just wouldn't happen now, Mark. And obviously, the game has changed so much. What I'm trying to say is, did you ever think, Mark, that we're at the stage where players are basically now are like, what can I say? They can't do nothing. If a player goes out at all now, it's social media. He's pictured, he's doing this, he's doing that, or he's said the wrong thing, and
you're in trouble.
Whereas back in your day, Mark, I mean, you were getting away with having Tom in the dressing room during team talks, and
yeah, that's how it was. That's just how it was. Times have changed, and that's all we really can say on that. That's how times have gone on. They've moved on dramatically from, as I say, from my time to Tom's time. The way people look at the game of football as well, and the way that analytical people are involved in the game now, and it's all about the right preparation. But sometimes the right preparation is not the right preparation for some individuals. That's where Walter was really, really good. He knew what individuals wanted. So, if Tom was in the dressing room, the goalie wanted to warm up with Tom, and he thought it was good for him. And Tom could hit a ball. Tom could hit a half volley back at the goalkeeper, as he does right now, when he was about 4, 5, 6, blasting the ball back at him on the half volley. And that's that's how it was. He was in the corner, and Walter was just doing his team talk. As easy as that sort of stuff. So if the goalie wanted that, right, that's what the goalie got.
But yeah, brilliant. But why I'm asking the question is because Walter Smith's the last man I thought would ever allow that. I just thought Walter was strict disciplinarian, but
no. Why was that? Because Walter's a family man. He was a brilliant family man, loves his family, his kids and all that. Like, his kids used to come, Stephen and Neil used to come up to Choco for pre-season training and train with the boys, run with the boys. That's the sort of guy he was. So, misperceptions of people. He could be, don't get me wrong, if you put a foot out of place. And he would sort of drum down on like a stack of bricks on some people, who needed it. But Walter was that. He's a family man. Wanted to see families, encouraged. I think the mixing of, we all mixed back in the day. Excuse me. With families and kids are always involved in that. So that's what he was. That's who he is.
Yeah, obviously, Tom, your dad's saying about the players. We all know back then in the days when the goalie and your dad was playing, the lads went and they had a drink together and they socialised together. And the kids, does that happen for you over in Poland, or is that a no-no?
It happens when the time's right. It's a lot depends on how you're doing in the league and all that type of stuff, or your team bonding, or your Christmas parties, or what have you. It's
don't tell Nicola about your Christmas party, right?
I don't know. It happens at the right time. If you haven't got a game or anything like that, and you've got a weekend off or international break, something like that, the team will get together and go out for a nice dinner or have a day out together. Some sort of team bonding. We used to do it a lot actually at Motherwell. That's what earlier when I said we had a great group at Motherwell. That was part of it. Was we were always doing stuff, and to me it's important. It's to have that relationship where that you want to be mates, not just teammates. I think if you're mates, I think it can give the quieter players within a group a bit more confidence. In a game, sometimes somebody needs to be told something, and a quieter lad might not want to say it to somebody he's not so comfortable around or something like that. Whereas if you have an environment where you're close knitted, then Nicky Law, for example, was quite a quiet lad, but then you were good pals with him and he turned around and have a bite at you on the pitch if you needed it. Like, it brings out that side of people that is important to me, the team bonding side of it.
Yeah, okay. There's two things to put up here. So John McKinnon obviously is watching live from Gate 55 at Sydney Airport. He must have passed his COVID test because he was down in Sydney for a Rangers function, flying back to Brisbane. William Cochran, big Mark Hateley, thanks for the memories, big fella, true legend. Chris Bentham, Mark, thank you for your Pompey days. You're my favourite Pompey player for years. Now, here's one for Tom from Stuart Finlay. No pressure, Tom. Who was the better striker, Mo or Ali? Notice he didn't ask if your dad was in that.
That was going to be his answer, wasn't it?
Well, that's a given.
There would have only been one answer there, wouldn't there? I think if you look at Ali McCoy and the career he had and the status he has within Rangers, obviously is the goals he scored and all that type of stuff. So I'd go with him. I didn't play with them, but just from the achievements, from the goals, I'd probably go with Ali.
Yeah, obviously. Davey Wood says, Mark, nice picture in the background, Mark. Obviously, you still in the Mountain View?
Yeah, just in the Mountain View. I think it says on. Does it say it on top? Yeah,
I can't see it.
Tavern Loyal, Shankill Road.
There you go.
There you go. Well done, Mark. Obviously, question. We've heard this question so many times, Mark. You would tell them again. Hugh Thompson, Mark. Who was your best striking partner you played with at Rangers?
John Spencer. No, listen. Tom's just said it there. I think you can listen. Maurice Johnson was a really, really good player. Very mobile, very adapted. The all-round game from his time in France. But where Alistair took mark, he was a better player to play with me, because he was I'm not going to say less energetic, because that's not the word, because he did work hard to get into the space that is created by two players that are playing up front. But he wouldn't, he'd be with the width of the penalty box. He would work with there where Morris would go into the left wing and the right wing and drift a long way away from me, who was sort of leading the line. So that's where I always say Alistair. I mean, I played with Lineker, I played with Ramon Diaz, Paolo Rossi, Pietro Pallavidis, all real great players, great players. But Alistair, for me, was the ideal player for me to play with. They allowed me to do what I wanted, and allowed him to score as many goals as he wanted a season. And that's the beauty of having a partnership.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know you've answered that question so many times, Mark, so we'll not be asking that again. Obviously, it's the same. Did Alistair do a bit in the book? McCoy's
yes, he has done. Yes. Yeah. Reliably late, as always. He was the last one to contribute. But that's what Alistair is. His legendary lateness. But it's a great piece. Everybody that's contributed has done a fantastic summary, or if that's what you want to call it. But it's always nice to read through what your fellow professionals have to say about you, and it's been very, very rewarding to read through it. And as I say, it was the ideal time. 60 years old. I think my life's in where it is right now. I've had the ups and downs and lots of dark sides to the life of football, and dark sides to downsides to life in general. Yeah. So that's where I am right now. But living every day right now, which I try and advise everybody to do. Yeah,
and obviously, no doubt you've mentioned Tom and your other kids in the book as well. Tom's football career. Yeah. So, I haven't read the book yet, but I know I'll be getting the book. Obviously, I thought you were down this weekend. So I will be getting the book. Obviously, Mark, one last thing. Obviously, I heard you on a podcast last week, and it's something that was about, you were saying in the podcast about Charlie Miller. This is out of the blue, like when Charlie. Yeah. Just how good was Charlie Miller when he was a kid playing at Rangers?
I've gone on record saying he's probably the best 16-year-old I've ever seen. I couldn't believe as soon as I arrived, this little diminutive, little skinny, Charlie Miller, Castle Milk boy, completely in charge of the ball, completely in charge of it. He has a picture in his head. 16-year-old, I hadn't seen anything like it. And as I say, it's the Costa Curtas, all these, Paolo Maldinis, the Donadonis, Massaros. I saw them all at young ages. But this guy, this Charlie was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I said to Walter, I said, who is this kid? He said, that's Charlie. Charlie's from the Castle Milk. And, if he'd have been a player right now, without the guidance and the way the game has gone, Charlie could have been whatever Charlie wanted to be. But if you ask Charlie, and I do see Charlie a lot, he had a great time, and that's what it's all about. If he in his his own surroundings, his own body, he's had a good time. He's played for the team he's always wanted to play. Had a little few trips away down south. And enjoyed that. That's good enough for me. The boy got himself out of Casamel and made himself a career. And he's got a good coaching business going behind him right now. So take your hat off to him. So, but the best 16-year-old ever. Yeah, brilliant. And obviously, I know you both played for a manager you just didn't get on with, and that was Graham Taylor, Charlie, and yourself. I think Charlie got on that well. Good judge of character. Me and Charlie. Yeah, we'll leave it to that. So if they want to read about Graham Taylor, they can buy the book and read about it, Mark, correct? They can indeed. Absolutely. So we're guaranteed to get something in the book about Graham Taylor. That's good. Yes, you will do. Don't worry. No holds barred in this book, kiddo. Yeah, okay. Right.
I'll tell you one thing, Dad, actually, quickly, just as coming to my head there. The only coach that we must have both had would have been Archie Knox, wouldn't it? Archie Knox, yeah. Archie could give someone a bollocking. Yeah, he gave me my biggest bollocking I've had as a professional away at St Mirren. I played right wing back for the first time in my life. Yeah, and he went mad at half time. That was the biggest one I've had was from Archie. He was bad cop that day, was he? Bad cop that day. Yeah.
I've said it before. I remember George Albert's telling me he had played for Rangers. I don't know the game, either a defeat or a draw. wasn't good enough. Archie's in the dressing room, final whistle, and George Albert says, Archie kicks off. He goes, fuck this, it can't get much worse than this. And then walks Walter. He says, well, 10 times worse. Walter was worse.
Yeah. That was bad call.
Brilliant. Okay, right. I know, Mark, you've had a long day, so it's an hour. And Tom, thank you very much for coming on. It's been brilliant having you on, you and your dad.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Enjoyed
Excellent.
it.
Excellent.
Always a pleasure, Gary.
Yeah, if you stay there, lads, I'll close it down, then I'll speak to you. It's okay. Thanks very much,
Goodbye.
Mark. Thanks, Tom. Thanks.
Take care,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye. Okay, folks, so there you have it. Mark and Tom Hateley. Obviously, Tom didn't play for Rangers, but obviously a good Rangers man. Mark's book is available, folks, from Aired Books. If you search for Aired Books on Twitter or Facebook, you'll find Alistair Aired on there. And anybody that wants, if they message the Blue Heart page, I can put you in contact with Alistair to get books signed, get them sent down for Christmas presents, if that's what you want. Hopefully next Friday, folks, we'll be back on the Fan podcast, and obviously a few players coming up. Another player I've got now is Craig Moore's going to be doing one with us, and Alex McLeish very soon. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon. Bye.